Okay, I'm going to do two quick examples on reviewing multi-step equations with the distributive property, and then I'll get into the proportional unit that we're going to be working on. All right, so example 1, I have 8x plus 38 equals negative 3 times negative 6 minus 4x. All right, the first thing I would do is get rid of the subtraction. So that would be negative 6 plus negative 4x. Now you have to remember that you are distributing that negative 3. So 8x plus 38 equals negative 3 times negative 6 is a positive 18, plus negative 3 times negative 4 is 12x. Now you've got variables on both sides, so we're going to subtract and get that variable to the left side of the equation. We're going to subtract 12x from both sides. 8 plus negative 12x is negative 4x plus 38 equals 18. Now I'm going to add a negative 38 to both sides. Remember, this is all a review. I'm going to get negative 4x equals negative 20. Divide both sides by negative 4. X is equal to 5. All right, one more for the review. Negative 14 minus 8x equals negative 2 times negative 3x plus 7. All right, so here's my subtraction this time. So I'm going to change that to adding a negative. Now I'm going to distribute. So I have negative 14 plus negative 8x equals negative 2 times negative 3x is a positive 6x. Negative 2 times a positive 7 is a negative 14. I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. Line it up where it goes. I have negative 14 plus negative 14x equals negative 14. So I'm going to add 14 to both sides. I have negative 14x equals 0. You're not done. You need to divide both sides by negative 14. X is equal to 0. Okay, now that was a quick review because you're going to have those equations to work on Friday. Today we're going to work on our new unit, which is proportional equations. The one thing we did not have a chance to do. All right, so we have solving proportional equations. Now, if you remember, we've solved proportions in 7th grade. So we'll start with the simple one. We have 5 over 15 is equal to 2 over k. Now we need to try to figure out how to solve for k. And if you remembered, we have done these before when we were solving for a missing part of a proportion by cross multiplying and then dividing. So we are going to cross multiply our 15 and 2 and cross multiply our 5 and k. So 5 times k is 5k, and we have 2 times 15. 5k equals 30. Divide by 5, divide by 5, k is equal to 6. Now, they're not always going to be that pretty. Some of them are going to come out as decimals. And yes, I want you to change these into decimals and round them to 2 decimal places. Okay, that would be one of the easy ones because we're just going to cross multiply the 2 and the 15 and the 5 and the k. Because they're already telling you that these are proportional because they have the equal sign in between. All right, so what happens if we have an expression? So 3 over a plus 7 equals 8 over 9. Now here we had just the variable by itself, but now we have an expression. So we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to have 8 times a plus 7. You need to put that in parentheses. We're going to have to distribute that 8. And that's going to equal 3 times 9. 8 times 1a, you could put a 1 in front. That's going to give you 8a plus 56 equals 27. Now this is a two-step equation, so we're going to subtract 56 from both sides. And I'm going to get 8a is equal to negative 29. So you're going to do your long division. Add 2 decimal places, maybe 3. 8 will go into 29 3 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Bring down the 0. That goes in 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. The difference of that is 2. Bring down your 0. That would be a 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Now I would add another 0 on there because I know that's going to go in evenly, and that's going to be a 5. So my answer is going to be, divide by 8. A is equal to negative 3 and 625 thousandths. All right, we're going to do one more. We have 3 over 8 equals v minus 22 over v plus 22. Now these are expressions, so we're going to have to put those parentheses in. If it makes it easier for yourself, put them in now, because you know you're going to need them when you get to the final step. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to circle my 8 and my times v to the negative 22. So v minus 22 is going to equal, go in the other direction, 3 times v plus 22. So I'm going to change this to plus a negative. 8 times v is 8v. 8 times negative 22 is going to be negative 176. 3 times v is 3v. 3 times 22 is 66. All right, I'm going to move my 3v first. I'm going to bring that over here. So that's going to be 5v plus negative 176 equals 66. I'm going to add 176 to both sides. And I will get 5v equals 6 plus 6 is 12, 13, 14, 242. Divide both sides by 5. V is going to equal 242 divided by 5. 5 goes into 20 4 times. Into 24 4 times with 4 remainder. 5 goes into 42 8 times. That would be 40. So I want you to put your decimal point in 0. Put your decimal point up on that line right away. Bring that 0 down. 5 goes into 20 4 times. So your answer should be 48 4/10. All right, so there's nothing different with proportional equations except that extra step of setting it up by doing your cross multiplication.